Deal's off.
There's a sense of excitement when two villains square off in no-holds-barred combat. It's satisfying to see how these villains get a good dose of karma when they get slain by bad guys just like them. We already know how far these villains can go, but we don't know how strong they'll stand when faced with guys with the same morality as theirs. So who's gonna win? To answer that, let's dig into the best villain versus villain fight scenes of all time.
Welcome to my world. You'll need a bigger house.
In this video, Magneto is in his redemption era.
Betray me.
No. I betrayed them.
Magneto coming back to his fellow mutants was heart-touching. Just like the Suicide Squad, Magneto is no monster, and once his vision doesn't align with Apocalypse's, he immediately double-crosses him. He wanted mutant supremacy because he's terrified of another Holocaust happening again, while Apocalypse's evil character was just straight out of pure greed. I guess this isn't a fight between a greater evil, but who's got more sensical morals? And yeah, Magneto is the not-so-villain type of guy. He even betrayed Apocalypse in style by making an X using two metal pillars. If it wasn't for Magneto, they wouldn't have won, and it was surprising to see Magneto keep Apocalypse busy for even a few seconds. I personally think that Magneto could have ripped up Apocalypse using his magnetic force alone. Just like how he can rip up the Earth's magnetic core, but of course doing that wouldn't have given Jean Grey her shining moment. But hey, I'm not a writer, or am I?
Target everyone! Somebody fire!
Did we say that bounty hunters were funny? Well, the next one is a bit serious because this fight is taking us to space.
Watch how I soar.
The CGI was insanely good, as the Serenity flies through the Reaver's territory, baiting them to engage in combat with the Alliance. It's not every day you see the heroes trying to run with their lives after leading two rival armies in a straight face-off. This is the point where two armies meet ship to ship, leading to that intense space war, and it looks awesome. The fight between the Alliance and Reavers made us witness an enormous spacecraft that's so puzzling because it goes beyond our imagination. It makes us think like, how can they even maintain these massive ships? The explosions, the thrill, and the cinematics made this one scene that you shouldn't miss. Although we didn't get to see the entire battle, just feeling like we were in the center of the crossfire was enough to make us hype. It was pure action chaos.
I'm a leaf on the wind. Watch out.
Now comes a battle of pirates with no code of conduct. Who do you think's gonna win, Barbosa or Blackbeard? The search for the Fountain of Youth is on, and the pirates who race towards it are more than willing to abandon their hearts. So, where would you rank Barbosa and Blackbeard on the morality scale? Everything about Blackbeard is evil. This pirate lives for his quote, "If I don't kill a man every now and then, they forget who I am."
This land is hereby forever claimed in the glorious name of His Majesty, King George.
But it seems his mantra lost its power when Barbosa stabbed him with a poisoned blade. Blackbeard should have won until he turned his back to argue with a Spaniard, because you never turn your back on a Spaniard. Sorry, I mean an ex-pirate. Barbosa just wasn't stupid enough to chit-chat while in the middle of a standoff. I guess one way to compensate for his missing leg is to wring a venomous dagger. It may not have been much of a fight, but why struggle when you can just stab them in the back? Brace yourselves, for now we're going dark and creepy as we trail towards the duel between a psychopath and a monster. Michael Myers and Corey Cunningham of Halloween Ends. It's kind of expected when two evils had a bromance because of their shared pain and hate and then turned against each other in the end. They worked together, but that was until Corey started acting out, even going so far as to wear the recognizable mask in order to exact revenge on those who've wronged him. But in the mask lies Michael's identity. And I guess psychopath killers don't want anyone stealing their own murderous style. So Michael hunted him down the old-fashioned way, and he never fails. Corey got what he deserved, and Michael killed him in one of the most brutal ways possible, by snapping his neck. Michael and Corey may share the same evil mind, but the mask is off limits.
I cannot be betrayed. I cannot be beaten. He ignites it and kills his true enemy.
This is proof that villains are redeemable. It's thrilling to watch when mortal enemies fight side by side to take down a common enemy. I bet this scene exists to show us how kick-ass it is when Rey and Kylo work together. It wasn't an easy task too, since the Praetorian Guards are badasses in their own right and they were making each second feel like hell for the two. We were served with two Force users not just having the Force Awakening in them, but maybe this is a prelude to a different kind of Force. I mean, to an awakening of a spicier thing between them. At least that's what I thought. You know. Kylo even went as far as killing his master Snoke at the beginning, but it has an even deeper meaning that die-hard Star Wars fans would see from the get-go. In this throne room moment, in Rey and Kylo's fights against the Guards, we were given a genuine preview of what it might be like to see light and dark interacting, symbolizing balance. That's some pretty creative filming from Star Wars.
Where is she?
I don't know.
It's not always the hero who takes down the bad guy. Sometimes the anti-hero does the hero's work. Tasking these guys to save the world from the Enchantress is really a suicidal task.
Sorry.
They may be villains, but they're not monsters. That's why even though their boss was more or less a jerk, they did what needed to be done. Well, we see them struggle to figure out how they defeat a powerful mystic enemy capable of blasts and illusion. And for the first time, we see a glimpse of fear and worries in these anti-heroes who were always confident. I mean, come on. Enchantress is basically a goddess, so who wouldn't be worried? Yeah, at some parts, it's funny how the powerful Enchantress got outsmarted by a girl whose weapon is just a bat. Yeah, here comes Harley Quinn with her sweet, broken-hearted words, tricking Enchantress, and the next thing we know, this crazy blondie's just saved the day. We also have to give some love to Diablo, sacrificing himself for the greater good. Now, that's a true hero.
I like what you're selling, lady. There's just one teeny problem. You mess with my friends.
Would you rather I say that they wouldn't pay for
This
this?
is so cute. Get a room. The next gen. I'm the best bounty hunter alive. Second best.
We're starting off our list with these not-so-villainy villains. The best part about this bounty hunter scene is that it seems like Chris Evans brought his MCU friends here too. So, how are you going to be scared if you've known these villains as the heroic cool guys in other superhero movies? To be honest, the hand flex, gun pointing, and threatening dialogues won't make you really tense as much, especially with Mackie's arrival giving us that much-needed comedic relief.
Called him a leopard, but even leopards get killed.
We even get a little bit of fan service when he says he goes by the nickname Grandson of Sam, which is a reference to his Marvel character.
And I'm not the grandson of Sam. Huh? Like the son of Sam, the serial killer?
Before we can process what's happening, John Cho, a new sniper, enters in another comical introduction. Then he was eliminated as soon as he confessed to being known only as the Leopard. Turns out the assassin was Sebastian Stan. Not only does he have the best lines amongst the three of them, but he also goes by the funniest nickname, God the Bounty Hunter, which just feels too edgy. This really is amongst Ghosted's finest moments, especially if you love Marvel.
I spent years conditioning myself to attuning my senses.
Gotcha, suckers.
power-hungry villains know when to seize the moment, and straight from the water, he immediately sets his sights on Jaime Lannister. Besides, Jaime Lannister is all Euron wanted to become. That's jealousy 101. You see, Jaime is basically the most attractive man in Westeros, the best fighter, the Kingslayer, and most importantly for Euron, Jaime is the only man with Cersei's heart. And of course, getting the Queen's favour means power, and that's what Euron wanted. Even with just one hand, he managed to beat one of the fiercest fighters in Westeros. The entire fight was brutal to the point where both men were basically choking each other to death. Euron even managed to stab Jaime in the stomach, but it was a good thing he won because I wouldn't have wanted him to die at the hands of a sicko. Still, this fight displayed why Jaime was known as one of the best swordsmen in the series.
Always the bravest of us. Our planet will survive.
Now we're taking the fight to the reign of Autobots and Decepticons. This is a good guy, bad guy face-off. Oh wait, they're actually robots. So who's gonna win between two unimaginably powerful robots? Who's your bet? Megatron, a gladiator fascist, or Sentinel, an Autobot leader? Well, we can't delve into that because Optimus steals the scene. So this is basically two mean guys fighting, one with twisted honor and a delusional one, until the hero who believes they're all beyond saving comes in and kills them both. So with Sentinel Prime shouting no and begging for mercy, Optimus pointed the gun and blew up Sentinel's brain. Imagine executing your father and mentor, but I guess this is what happens when you're loaded up with trust issues. Well, anyone would get a second thought if they had battled alongside the Transformer for years only to have him betray them. Besides, killing Sentinel Prime was the only way to save humanity. Yeah, that's actually the climax point of the battle. Humanity should be safe.
You didn't betray me. You betrayed yourself. No, Optimus!
It's a mix of redemption and chaos when villains get confused about what they're fighting for. Sandman and Venom wanted Spider-Man, the New Goblin wanted MJ's safety, and perhaps a friendship restoration with Parker. Okay, so this is what we get. A tangled, dramatic, cinematic fight scene. Yeah, of course we know Spider-Man's gonna win in the end, but it still remains a puzzle. Who would win in the battle of antagonists? Sandman? Venom? New Goblin? Let's trail down beyond what's on the video. Given Sandman's physiology, he'd be the hardest to kill, and Venom's symbiote is too resistant, while Goblin is genius as crazy. But for a fan-serving climax battle, we're given a hard fight between the heroes Sandman and Venom. So yeah, we get to see the confused villain New Goblin end up risking his life for his best friend Spider-Man. Nevertheless, this is way deeper than those height-swinging Spidey stunts.
Feet up top!
Now, buckle up because we're taking the scene to prehistoric times as we enter Jurassic World. On one hand, we won't be just talking about who's dangerous amongst the savage beasts, but who would remain strong and resilient in a world of all beasts. Here comes T-Rex and Indominus Rex, giving us a full dinosaur versus dinosaur fight in an epic choir music background. So, who wins this one? Well, I guess it's the humans who won in the end for tricking these beasts into fighting each other in the first place. In the case of the T-Rex and Indominus, being at the top of the food chain doesn't mean that you should stop making an effort to keep yourself there. A predator must always rise to the challenge of driving away other predators. The mere presence of a larger or more vicious predator can endanger the other predators, so yeah, this is probably why the T-Rex and Indominus were influenced to fight each other. Now, I think it's not an easy question about which is stronger, but certainly Jurassic World was never really for humans.
It really is all about me. William, we made a deal to fight to the death. You and me. This is cheating. Deal's off.
Controlled anger is controlled chaos, but these villains can't hide the beaming hatred in their eyes as they do word war.
You're just a cheap knockoff. Oh no. I'm the upgrade.
Horrible dude, yet an amazing character. In a clash of the villains, who's the strongest evil to prevail? Soldier Boy or Homelander? So we know Homelander as the egotistic psychopath who remained untouchable throughout the season of The Boys. So this fight with Soldier Boy was satisfying for viewers as we see Homelander getting scared for the first time. The confrontation itself hurt more than the punches, and for someone like Homelander, the word war was enough to break him.
Buddy, you think you look strong? You're wearing a cape.
That was really insulting for a guy who's obsessed with his self-adoration. And this duel was more like a band-aid to Homelander's crushed ego. But we know guys like him were dangerous when angry, but for an arrogant, not-so-antagonist character like Soldier Boy, Fury is a piece of crap, especially with Butcher meddling in the clash. Now, it's 3 versus 1, and it isn't a battle of dominance, but whose twisted morality is reasonable. Make sure to define Klingons before engaging in a battle with them. Despite undergoing numerous transformations throughout the years, the Klingons from the Star Trek franchise remain one of the most instantly recognizable icons. Though their greater strength and quest of honor are what define them, you might be surprised to learn that Klingons have an odd quality and that they're not physically stronger than humans. So it's no wonder how Khan easily took them down with his blazing guns in time when Uhura was about to get stabbed. I guess the Klingon squad is destructible when faced with a villain like Khan, who doesn't have a character, but just kills for no reason. So in a battle with the Klingons, and when everything has calmed down, he chooses to surrender to Kirk, making him like Khan nearly kills them, as Khan acts like a moron, as if there isn't any trick involved for him doing that. So there's no question whether Khan is stronger than the Klingons or vice versa. I guess those who survived in the Star Trek world are just cunning and resilient.
With the eternal flame, you are reborn.
No, I know. But he got it.
When good guys can't defeat a villain, raising a stronger villain is the key. Hela, the iconic antagonist who broke Thor's hammer, is formidable, but not in the hands of Surtur, a fire demon prophesied to cause the fall of Asgard. This is an iconic scene depicting the hero's combined strength to knock down a seemingly invincible enemy, Hela, the Asgardian goddess of death. It's basically a battle of gods, Thor being the god of thunder, and his sister, the goddess Executioner. Explosions, darkness, ruins, that's what you can expect when gods clash with one another. And this is what happens too when a god goes to war with a big green friend Hulk, who just shook all off with a let me fight all of them attitude. The battle between Hela and Surtur is a face-off of death and doom. To Asgardian, Surtur is the metaphor for the place where everything ends. It is death itself, the death of death. Therefore it makes no difference if Hela is the goddess of death, for she'll still perish at the hands of doom. Now, this is no longer a battle of the villains, but a battle of the destroyers. Zoom in, King Ghidorah and Rodan of God, all pause for the King of Destruction. This is perhaps what the end of the world means when monsters like Rodan emerge from a volcano, completely destroying many fighter jets like flies, while looking like a straight boss, burning and destroying cities with the wind blowing off his It blasts out of the sky in one shot until it becomes like a hummingbird hitting a brick wall after running into Ghidorah. Now, it seems that what's needed to restrain a monster is another monster. Imagine how terrifying it could be when these two monsters roam in our city streets. I guess monsters are just cute when cartoonized, but blame this on the CGI for giving us a monster doomsday feel. So this face-off was basically just a destroyer villain seeking dominance.
If he'd have slipped me a length, I wouldn't hesitate. I'd throw him to
Dogs.
Gunpowder doesn't hesitate to shoot Butcher, but oops, he's bulletproof. So the result was that Gunpowder was pounded to death in the parking lot. It's pretty amazing to see how these guys were portrayed to have superpowers in season 3. Imagine how Gunpowder feels, punching onto a steel wall. Gunpowder was surprised just as when he was expecting that he could just knock Butcher out with bullets. Here it goes, the tables turned. At this moment, Gunpowder serves as a turning point, advancing the plot through his death by illustrating Butcher's growing powers. Besides, Gunpowder's just a minor antagonist, but on the scale of evil, yeah, they're both bad guys, and I guess Butcher has more evil in store. We see Gunpowder spend his life in conflict, spewing shots and killing anyone who happened to be close because his bloodlust overcame his moral clarity. Butcher is a violently inclined person with father issues. Sometimes you can tell that he doesn't want to be bad, but he just can't resist it. Now, this is getting a little bit creepier. I bet we all know these scary creatures, Sadako and Kayako. Yeah, we know they're both merciless, creepy villains, so let's see who's the least scariest, or who's the lesser evil, I suppose. So these are two vengeful spirits. One operates through a cursed video, and the other on a Ju-on curse, like you won't come out alive once you step in her house. If you can't beat a curse, why not summon another cursed spirit to beat it for you? It's kind of odd, isn't it? This is how it led Sadako and Kayako to fight at the well. It was like two cursed spirits fighting over prey, as Sadako and Kayako crawled and clashed at the creepy cursed well. The actual fighting of the ghost was pretty much a jump scare, as Sadako and Gago sprinted full force at each other, showing that the ring spirit we usually get scared of before finally having a match. This is outright betrayal. We can never tell when a bad guy changes. Well, this is like an out-of-the-blue character redemption for Darth Vader, the menacing villain who embraces the Dark Force. It's puzzling about who's more evil though, Darth Vader or the manipulator Machiavellian Emperor. Well, I guess that was answered when Darth Vader unexpectedly threw the Emperor to his death. Darth Vader may have an established villain characterization, but before he became a disciple of the dark side, he was Anakin Skywalker, a good-hearted Jedi, and this is perhaps why he made a sudden, unexpected choice, seeing Luke being tortured by the Emperor. At this point, Darth Vader was coming home to the light. So yeah, I guess Darth Vader isn't really that much of a villain after all, is he? He's not the kind that's evil to the core, but a man influenced by his environment and his choices. Darth Vader versus the Emperor will always be remembered as an epilogue to an amazing tale. In the end, a father tainted by his greed for power and his spirit of rivalry is able to turn around, demonstrating that change is still possible despite how far they've wandered.
I am your father.
It's time to put this bad dog to sleep.
Now we're going creepy and intense. It's good to watch when a psycho criminal finally meets his match. So now we're going to be weighing who really is the Titan King of horror in Freddy and Jason's face-off. Who could win? The man with the burnt face, knife fingers, who can infiltrate your nightmares? Or the machete-wielding, hockey mask-wearing, unkillable lunatic? This match was pretty satisfying, knowing how these two psychos had tortured and killed their victims in the previous movies. So we're just going to watch these guys getting their own karma served to them by themselves. Their face-off was a deep portrayal of a nightmare and killing machine duel. But yeah, what is a nightmare is when you're confronted by our greatest fear. See how the unkillable Jason curled half naked on the waters lying in a world controlled by Freddy? But since reality is always more powerful than nightmares, Freddy weakens in the real world, giving Jason the advantage to dominate him. I think it's not a question of who wins amongst the two, because these two types of villains are certainly the kind we don't want to see alive.
Mom, we have to get Wayland.
While helplessly facing death at the hands of a predator, the only salvation perhaps is the emergence of another, stronger monster. But don't get thrilled too much, for this alien didn't really interrupt because he's the good savior guy. It just turns out that this alien versus predator face-off is a battle of prey or of ecosystem dominance. Now, the predator who hunts for honor gets to meet a prey larger and more savage than him, the alien. Even though humanity loses either way, when alien or predator wins, would you still place your bet on this one? In this case of greater threats, I just really think it's better to put your bet on the lesser evil, considering how you don't have a choice anyway. In the case of the aliens, they're no more than creatures craving for sustenance, while predators are for superiority. Well, at least predators are more honorable than aliens, who don't know a thing other than consuming life beings. As for the combat skill, predators are thinkers, while aliens are plain eaters. So yeah, I'd bet on the predators. Besides, in this film, they're the villains turned into good guys. And that's a wrap for the best villain versus villain fights of all time. If we missed a good 1v1 between antagonists, then make sure you share it in the comments and let us know. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video I know you're going to enjoy.